I still catch my reflection sometimes and wince at the haircut I clung to for a decade too long. Nobody told me the exact moment a style stops working. It just quietly starts working against you. Today I'm walking you through 5 hairstyles that are aging women without them realizing it, and exactly what to replace each one with. I researched the worst style and beauty mistakes and the best fixes for women over 50, so you get real results, fast. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. I cover this every week. Part 1: the blunt bob that's quietly boxing in your face. A blunt, chin-length bob was the safest haircut in every salon for 20 years straight. Almost nobody warns you what that same blunt line does once your face shape has softened with age. It draws a hard horizontal frame right where your jaw has changed the most. You look in the mirror and something feels heavier than it used to, and it's not your imagination. The fix is a soft, textured bob with a gentle diagonal line instead of a straight across cut. Ask your stylist for point cutting along the ends. This breaks up that hard edge into feathery, irregular pieces that move instead of sitting like a helmet. The diagonal length should fall slightly longer toward the front, framing your jaw rather than boxing it. Here's why it works mechanically. A broken, angled line pulls the eye diagonally across your face instead of stopping it flat at your jawline, which visually lifts everything above it. Once this texture goes in, the change in how you're perceived is immediate. People stop seeing a haircut and start seeing your actual face again. Your eyes, your smile, all of it comes forward instead of getting boxed in. I had a client tell me she went from the blunt bob to this softened version, and her own daughter asked if she'd lost weight. Nothing had changed but the line of her hair. That's how much a single cut angle carries. Before, a stiff, blunt chin-length line sitting flat across the jaw. After, a soft, diagonal, point-cut bob that moves and frames. Next up is a color mistake so common you've probably never questioned it once in your entire life. Part 2: the uniform dark dye flattening your whole head. Most women over 50 go darker to hide the gray, and almost none of them realize flat, single-process dark color does the opposite of what they want. Solid dark dye sits on aging skin like a stage curtain. It removes every bit of natural light your face used to catch from lighter strands near your hairline. You end up looking harsher, not younger, and it's rarely the shade itself that's the problem. The fix is asking for face-framing baby lights. Fine, subtle highlights placed only around the hairline and part, 2 to 3 shades lighter than your base color. This isn't full highlights throughout, just targeted light right where your face needs the lift. Mechanically, these lighter pieces sit closest to your skin and bounce light upward onto your cheekbones and under your eyes, softening shadows that flat dark color would otherwise deepen. The snapback here is real. Clients tell me people start asking if they're getting more rest, when nothing changed except a few strands of color near the hairline catching the light differently. A friend of mine held onto the same box dye dark brown for 15 years out of habit, not preference. The moment she added just baby lights at her part, her whole face looked rested in a way dye alone had never managed. Before, solid, flat, all over dark color with no light near the face. After, soft face-framing baby lights lifting the skin around the eyes and cheeks. What's coming next might be the one mistake on this list you're the most guilty of, and you won't see it coming. Part 3: the overprocessed perm sitting on top of thinning hair. Tight, uniform perm curls were the answer to volume for decades, and a lot of women still reach for them the second their hair starts thinning. Here's what nobody explains. A tight uniform curl pattern actually reveals scalp faster than straight hair does, because the curl clumps unevenly and leaves visible gaps at the crown. The very texture meant to hide thinning ends up spotlighting it instead. The fix is a loose, root-lifted wave instead of a tight curl. Ask your stylist specifically for a body wave with root volume, no barrel smaller than 1.5 inches. The looser pattern layers over itself instead of clumping into separate curls, so it covers the scalp evenly rather than leaving visible part lines. Root lift at the crown specifically is what solves the thinning concern, because lifted roots create the illusion of density before the curl pattern even starts. Once this goes in, the change is dramatic. The crown reads full and healthy instead of sparse, and nobody's eye goes hunting for scalp anymore. One woman told me she'd been avoiding photos from above for years because of how her perm looked at the crown from that angle. 6 weeks after switching to a loose body wave with lifted roots, She was the one asking her granddaughter to take an overhead photo. Before, tight uniform perm curls clumping unevenly with visible scalp at the crown. After, loose body wave with lifted roots reading as full, even coverage. The next one isn't even really about the cut. It's about something you're doing to it every single morning. Part 4. The flat iron style that's erasing your natural texture. Straightening your hair bone straight every single morning feels like the put-together choice, but it does something most women never connect to their appearance getting harsher over time. Repeated high heat gradually strips the hair's natural cuticle, leaving strands thinner and flatter with every pass. Flat hair against an aging face loses the softness your bone structure actually needs. The fix is embracing a soft, tousled blowout instead. Ask for a round brush blowout with bend, not a straightener finish. A round brush lifts hair away from the head as it dries, creating gentle movement and body rather than pressing everything flat. Mechanically, this bend catches light differently along each strand, giving the appearance of thickness that flat-ironed hair simply cannot produce, no matter how shiny it looks. The moment clients switch, they notice their whole face looks softer within seconds. The movement in the hair takes attention off any sharpness in the jaw or cheekbones and redistributes it as gentle motion instead. A woman in one of my comment sections said she'd flat-ironed her hair daily since 1998 and never once considered it was aging her. 2 weeks into round brush blowouts, she said her sister asked what skincare she'd started using. Before, bone straight, flat-ironed hair sitting close and flat against the head. After, a soft round brush blowout with visible bend and gentle movement. There's one more mistake left, and it might be the sneakiest of all, because it doesn't even look like a mistake at first glance. Part 5. The long, one-length style pulling your whole face down. Keeping hair long and one uniform length past the shoulders feels youthful, but on a face that's softened with age, all that uninterrupted weight does one specific thing. It drags visually downward with nothing to interrupt the pull, exaggerating exactly the drooping the hair was meant to distract from. The length isn't the problem. The lack of any breaks in it is. The fix is adding long layers starting at the cheekbone, not the shoulder. Ask your stylist for face framing layers beginning at cheekbone height, blended, not choppy. Layers that begin this high interrupt the downward pull at exactly the point where your face needs lift the most, while the rest of the length stays intact below. Mechanically, this creates upward movement right at cheekbone level, which counters sagging by giving the eye somewhere to land besides straight down. The result clients report most is people commenting their smile looks bigger. Nothing changed about their smile, the layers just stopped dragging the whole face downward around it. My own mother kept the same waist-length hair from her 30s well into her 70s, convinced it kept her looking younger. The day she added cheekbone layers, 3 separate people at her church told her she looked lighter. She still had all her length, just none of the pull. Before, long one-length hair with no layering, weight pulling straight down. After, long hair with face framing layers starting at the cheekbone, lifting the whole face. That's all 5, and now you know exactly what to ask for the next time you're in the chair. You've now got 5 specific requests to bring to your next appointment, and every single one of them is something a stylist can start today, not someday. That's real, usable knowledge, not vague advice. Which one of these 5 were you doing without even realizing it? Tell me in the comments. Next time, I'm covering the exact questions to ask before any color appointment, so you never leave the salon disappointed again. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.